We're happy to report on that progress in Salem because kind of on the flip side, when it comes to Oregon's housing crisis, an already frustrating problem just got even more frustrating. Here's the headline. Hundreds of Oregonians finally got their rent assistance checks, but the checks may not go through. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay, so for months now, we'll back up here. We've talked about how amid massive financial hardships caused by the pandemic, record numbers of Oregonians have applied for rent assistance. So many that the state is overwhelmed. Okay, the need is so huge that Governor Kate Brown says Oregon got $298 million in rent assistance from the feds. And last week, that $298 million ran out. That money is all gone. She called a special session for lawmakers next week to set aside millions in state funds and enact new protections to keep renters housed while they wait for their checks. Case in point, last week, father of three, Musanda Mwango, told our Art Edwards he was approved for rent assistance back in June. But
you haven't seen a dime.
I haven't seen a dime, no. My landlord has not received anything. I have a good relationship with my landlord, but at the same time, how much can anybody take it? This is still something that has a mortgage on it. This is a property that they still have to pay their end.
Again, that was last week. I reached out to Mwango today. He still hasn't gotten his check. And there are thousands like him who are still waiting. So you can imagine when a renter in Oregon in a situation like his, or when their landlords finally get those checks in the mail, it is such a huge relief, unless that check fails to go through, which according to the Oregonian is exactly what may happen to hundreds of people. They broke this story and state officials now confirm they mistakenly sent out 468 checks that had incorrect routing numbers, meaning those checks will not go through. That is, unless the cashier goes through the extra step of vetting the check through a somewhat involved process that they use to stop fraud. So it could go through, it just needs some more effort, basically. Tonight, officials say 198 of those checks have been cashed, presumably with cashiers that went through those extra steps. 270 checks have not been cashed. And the state says they're working to track down all the affected landlords and all the tenants who got those bad checks and either give them instructions on how to cash the bad checks or issue them new ones. Granted, we don't know how long it'll take to get those new checks sent out. But in the meantime, Portland-based property owner Carl Benda told the Oregonian our quote of the day, and that is, "It's just the latest in a litany of snafus." Let's hope that litany ends soon.